heard this before, but it bears repeating what our mission is. Why are we here? What are we here for? And the mission, as stated on our website, it says that New Richmond Schools, in partnership with parents and community. And of course, we do want to be a partner with our parents. We do want to be a partner with our community. We're here to serve our community, and we want to maintain that partnership in a professional way. That means being able to communicate, being able to discuss issues openly and honestly. All right? And we're going to provide them with a comprehensive educational experience. You know what that means? That means we're going to continue to offer all kinds of different programs. That means we're going to continue to offer art and music and PE in the elementary levels. We're going to continue to provide gifted and students with disabilities and all kinds of different things for our students to partake in, whether it's sports, whether it's Science Olympiad. I mean, there's a variety of things that we provide our students. And we're going to do that in a safe and nurturing environment. And we all know what that means, and certainly there are concerns. And I know that we continue to be concerned all the time about that issue. I know you are, as we are as well. And we want to provide a safe environment, and we want to be nurturing to our students. And we want to graduate students that are able to demonstrate confidence. I think we saw some confidence today with our readers. And we saw some confidence there. We saw confidence with our high school band and cheerleaders. And I appreciate their willingness to come out. So we're going to graduate students able to demonstrate confidence, able to demonstrate leadership, and so appreciated Eric Feinen's remarks this morning. And I think we've graduated a guy there with tremendous leadership capabilities, and I have no idea where life will lead him, but I know that he'll be able to accomplish whatever he wants. And finally, we'll demonstrate them with confidence, leadership, and responsibility. And we certainly hope that our graduates will be responsible. We teach them the 4 R's on an almost daily basis, and I appreciate the way you do that. And we want to make sure that they're responsible, because we all know that there are some times in life where we have adults that aren't responsible, and we want to make sure that our graduates are going to be responsible. So let's talk about the focus for this upcoming school year, okay? And I think that you saw a little bit in the slideshow that John and Nina's put together, some of the issues that need to be a focus, okay? Let's start first with the 3rd grade reading guarantee. I have said many times to our principals, we don't want a single student retained in the 3rd grade based on the 3rd grade reading guarantee, okay? This coming year is the first year that will go into effect in Ohio. And we don't want a single one. Now, if it had been in effect this year, we would have had 4 students that it would have been retained. And we don't want a single one of them retained this coming year. So I know that that puts a lot on our teachers, because you know what? You're not going to be reading with them at night. You're not going to be reading with them on the weekend. You've got to deal with them when they come to you. And so I know there's a lot on you. And certainly we've tried, as well as a district, we've tried to accomplish this by bringing some students who are at risk and needy in the summer. And I very much appreciate the Board of Education's support when it comes to summer school this year. And I know it's very important to them as well. So that's a focus, is our 3rd grade reading guarantee and making sure that students don't get retained. Another focus for this school year, and again, I appreciate the cooperation and the ability to have great and meaningful conversation with NREA on the issue of teacher evaluation. And as many of you recall, we changed the language in our teacher evaluation system from what had been a hybrid mix developed over 30-some years into something that has actually 30 years of research behind it, and that being the Marzano model. And last year was the first year with it. And I really appreciate the ability to work with our teachers on that issue, and our principals. Certainly there was a lot on their plate to learn Marzano and to be able to fairly evaluate using the Marzano language. And that won't go away with OTES coming up soon. And as many of you know, the requirements of OTES says that Every teacher will have to be observed at least twice a year, and there'll have to be multiple walkthroughs. And so we will continue to use eye observation in Marzano, and because of that, we're going to continue to provide additional training every year on the different elements in Marzano. And when we dismiss from this room, we're going to go across and our teachers are going to get additional training on some of the elements in Marzano. So that's a second focus for this school year. A third focus for this school year is the blended use of technology and iPads. And again, I want to compliment our Board of Education for their support of technology and willingness to purchase a lot of iPads this summer. A lot of iPads. We have so many iPads in this district now that we're going to be close to a 1-to-3 ratio. 1-to-3 ratio is incredible, and we are certainly blessed as a school district. There's not a lot of school districts out there that can provide that kind of technology to their students. And so when I talk about having it, we don't want to just have it. We want to blend it. We want to use it and engage students with it. Use it to engage students. Use it to focus their learning. Use it to create their interest. And certainly there are many, many ways to do that. And you know, Matt Pritchard had to step out, I believe, helping get ready for the next training that's going on. But you know, one of the things that Matt Pritchard has really worked on, and that is making sure that our teachers have the training that they need to do that. And if you feel like you need additional training when it comes to iPads or technology, or blending technology into curriculum and into learning, please see him, please see me, and if we can't provide ideas and avenues for that improvement, then we're going to go out and find somebody that can come in and help us, okay? So we want to use our iPads. We don't want them sitting in a corner, we want them being used, and we don't want them being used playing games. We want to use them in a blended way that helps our students learn and engages them. That's a third thing. A fourth focus for the school year is implementing the work, and I'm talking lots of work, of the English Language Arts Committee that met last year. Okay, they met with John Fry and brought in many times to discuss various ways to teach students when it comes to language arts, and making sure that we're making the adjustments necessary to comply with the needs of the Common Core. Okay? We have heard the Common Core, we've heard it talked about a lot, and so we want to continue to be focused on that and make sure that we're prepared for that transition. And that transition will continue this year. This will be the third year with full implementation next year. And so you think about what that Language Arts Committee did as it met through the year last year, and the focus on Saxon phonics at the early primary years, adjusting the novels and the books that our students are reading and adjusting it based on the exemplar text list and moving books into the correct grade level. Okay? And then the other part of that Language Arts Committee talking about writing skills. And boy, is that such an important thing. Our students have got to be able to write. And that's a challenge. No doubt it's a challenge. And it's a challenge for us sometimes. And we're in it every day. And we've got to be able to teach our students to not just think about why they want to answer a problem a certain way. They need to be able to write it. It's got to get from their brain and through that pen or pencil. And they've got to be able to write. And so continuing the work of that English Language Arts Department meetings of last year. That's number 4. Number 5, we've made some changes this year, responded to some concerns when it comes to gifted education, and we've got what we think is going to be a really good program for our gifted students this year. No longer are they going to have to be all in or all out. Okay, if there is a program first quarter they want to do, they can be in that one and be in the first and third, or second and fourth, or all 4 of them. And we've got some really good courses for them to work on, and I really am happy with some of the changes that we've made there. Number 6, I'm just going to throw this out there. We've got bus drivers here. I'm so thankful for our bus drivers and what you do. You deliver students every day safely, and we have an incredible record of of safe and timely delivery. And I don't get phone calls from parents about busing. I don't get phone calls worried about, my kid didn't get picked up, my kid didn't get brought home. And those don't come because of the professional nature of our drivers. And we want to continue to deliver our students safely and timely to school every day. Another focus, and you saw it up here in the slides, and that is our most important day of the year every year is graduation. Okay? And graduation, certainly there are challenges in making sure that 100% of our students graduate, but we're not there, and we want to be there. And I don't know what the number was, because you know what? It's not 100, and we want it to be 100. And so we want to continue to work so that every one of our students graduate. And that's not, you've heard me say this and others say it before. 100% graduation is not a high school problem. It goes down to elementary. And, last year I saw some research that showed that 5th and 6th grade students who get a D or an F in English language arts or math are greatly at risk of not graduating someday. And I'm sure we can all come up with other kinds of statistics that talk about graduation rate. We want to make sure that we're there. Another focus for this year, this is number 8, and that is we want to make sure we analyze the data. Okay? And so we have voluminous amounts of data out there. We've got pro-Ohio data, pro-core data. We've got SAT testing data. We've got last year's OAA data. We've got DIBELS data. We've got crawl data. We've got FAME data. We've got to be able to take that, we've got to be able to use it, and we've got to be able to make adjustments to student learning so that we know what worked last year, what didn't work last year. Let's not do it again if it didn't work last year. All right? And let's make sure that we're looking at the data. And so we've got so many, another thing that we've got to look at. We've got to look at the data from the students who came to summer reading camp. What kind of effect did it really have? We think it had a tremendous effect. We hear stories about how much better they did, but let's find out. Let's make sure that we know what the impact was. Okay? And so finally, the 9th thing that I have, and this won't apply to everybody. This will apply to those teachers who are not in a value-added area, and that is we're going to practice SLOs. Okay? In Ohio, every school district in Ohio is required to implement OTES this year, Ohio Teacher Evaluation System. However, schools like New Richmond, who are in the final year or you have a year or 2 left on your negotiated agreement, we do not have to implement it. We have to pilot it. We have to practice it. And so part of that practice will be with SLOs, student learning objectives. All right? And we'll continue to do that, and that will be part of our focus at our October in-service day and our November in-service day. Okay, so be ready for that. And if you are grades 4 through 8, language arts, English language arts, or math, you won't have to worry about an SLO because your student growth measure will be coming out in a couple of weeks. Okay, remember the slides that you saw up here on value added, those aren't accurate. Those are simulated. Okay, we're going to know our value added results as a district in a couple of weeks. We're going to know individual teacher value added data in a couple of weeks. Okay, and the value added data, whether you agree with it or don't disagree with it, right now it's the law of Ohio, and it's a measure of student growth from one year to the next. How far did they grow? Okay, and the purpose of that is if a student perhaps has been failing in their OAA, but they have improved more than a year's worth of growth, we want to give that teacher or that school credit. Okay, and that's the impetus behind value added. So we're going to practice SLOs this year. We're going to get better at it. We have a SLO committee comprised of administrators and teachers that'll be involved in that. I have the last couple of comments, all right, and then I'm done. And again, it's the last chance I got to talk to all of you at the same time. You ready? I've got a couple of exhortations for you. All right? I want to remind you that you are the leader in your classroom. You're the leader in your classroom. Make it happen. You can do it. You're the one who's going to set the tone every day. I would say follow the expectations that you have for your students. If you're asking them to do something, make sure you're doing it too. I would ask you to track and celebrate student success. I would ask you to establish the 4 R's and apply them consistently. I would ask you to you heard some others speak today about student engagement. Make sure students stay engaged. I would ask you to ask students to describe their thinking. Why did you get the problem wrong? What was your thinking? Why did you get it right? How did you come to that answer? Ask them to describe their thinking. Require students to create, if you're a science teacher, require students to create a hypothesis. Require students to test that hypothesis. All right? I would ask you to be enthusiastic. I would ask you to compliment students. Demonstrate value for all of our students, not just the ones who are doing well. Demonstrate value for all of them. Know the needs of your students with disabilities. You're going to have students in your class who might be on a 504 or an IEP. Know their needs. I would ask you to self-evaluate your own effectiveness as you're going through the year. If something's working or if something's not working, make adjustments. Self-evaluate. Keep your progress book up to date. I'm telling you, so many times, the only way that parent knows you is through progress book. That's how they know you. That's their biggest connection to you. And if it's not up to date, if it's not being kept up, they're going to make assumptions about you. All right? Don't let that happen. Promote positive and professional interactions with parents. Now, you guys, so many of you are so good and been doing it for so long, emailing parents, tweeting and calling and make those connections and those positive interactions with parents. I would ask you to be lively and energetic. I would ask you to share your ideas with other teachers. I would ask you to be better than last year, and we were pretty good last year. Be better than last year. Grow your students. And remember, it's not about covering the material. It's about learning the material. Okay? It's not about just covering the material. It's about learning the material. Okay? And I'm going to tell you one thing. If you are a new teacher in this school district, one, we are very glad to have you. But I got to tell you, I honestly, truly believe that we have one of the best school districts in the state of Ohio. I really believe that. And if you are here for your first time, okay, we're happy to have you, and I hope you're happy to be here because this is a great place to work. It's a great place to grow students. It's a great community, and I hope you have a great school year.